Well, let's go to the next segment of our podcast, and it is the Ask the Dad segment of the podcast.
Yeah.
And this week, I have a question. You know, I was thinking about how the weather is getting warmer and people are going outside more. People are going on vacations. Everybody's living the good life. And things have not all the way gotten back to normal, but you can see little peeps here and there that things may be on the road to getting back to normal. So one of those things that helps us to get back to normal is cookouts. So we're going to talk about cookouts today. And you and your family are at a cookout. And I think we've all been there before. You're there with your wife, you're there with your kids. Mario E., who, if anybody, makes your plate at the cookout?
Who fixes my plate at the cookout? I tell you like this. So in my house, and you know, my wife and I, we've kind of joked around at this before and stuff, but we've been at get-togethers, and you know, it'll be funny because you know you'll see, you know, some wives will be like, you know, honey, do you want me to make you a plate? You know, and you know, that type of thing or whatever. But in my house, I've always made my own plates, you know, and I'm just being honest, you know, and I don't say that, you know, to like try to, you know, talk any ill of my wife, but you know, it's just she doesn't do that, and honestly, I'm fine with that. Yeah, you know, I'm fine that she doesn't make my plate. It's okay because I know sometimes I can be picky, and you know, I might not know who made the potato salad, so I might not want the potato salad that day, you know? Yeah. So, and so for us, that works. That, you know, she doesn't need to fix my plate for me, you know, to make me feel like a man, to make me feel like the husband, making me feel like, you know, that I'm important or that she loves me or whatever. But, and I do think it's funny how some couples that's just what they do. And you know, I'm not jealous of those couples at all, but I know for me and mine, you know, it's, you know, I fix my own plate, you know, and I'm totally fine with that. Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
I guess what I think about, like, is that what supposed to happen? Like, is that what our wives are supposed to do? Like, because I felt the same way that you have felt. It's kind of weird because obviously when you get married for the first time, you've never been married before, but you have seen married couples or people that are together where the wife will go get the food for the husband at the cookout. Yeah. And that didn't happen for me. Yeah. And I'll explain why. And part of the reason this did not happen or does not happen for me, I would say is partly on me. And then part of it, I can say that it's probably the reason why I chose to marry her or make her my wife and the mother of my son. Okay. So we had a long distance relationship early on. And she was like 3 hours away from me. And I would go see her because her family was doing, like, she had a family, a pretty big family, and they were trying to come together more frequently. Mm-hmm. You know how you get busy with your families and y'all don't get to see each other, like talking about even if y'all in the same city. So they were kind of like having an event like once a month just so the family could get together. And this was like during the summer months. Me and Shanika started dating like in May. So like the first few times, like when we were official, it was like May. So the first few times she invited me up was in the summertime and they were having a cookout. Okay. I don't know anybody up here. And I paid attention to little things. I met her grandmother not long after her great grandmother. I met her great grandmother, like when we first started talking. I met her, great woman, and I saw how she cared for her grandmother. She walked her out the door, she got her in the car, and just made sure she was secure and ready. And like I said, her great grandmother was elderly, so she really took her time. And I saw that caring part of her. It showed me that she wasn't selfish.
Okay.
Cared about other people. And that was the reason why I, really fell in love with her. And then when she goes to the cookout, I can't even spend time with her because she's working the cookout. She's putting the food out. She's putting the spoons and the spatulas here and there, putting the cheese and the mayonnaise and ketchup and lettuce and cutting up all the lettuce, tomato, and onions up. Making sure the table is spread. Make sure everything is in place.
Yeah.
And then once they say, let's eat, she goes to make her grandfather a plate.
Okay.
I'm not feeling any type of way because I'm just kind of taken back by how, I guess, industrious she is.
Yeah.
This whole cookout. And I'm seeing how she's taking care of the older people in her life, the people that are important to her.
Yeah.
How she's taking care of family. So she made it sure that grandpa or granddaddy got his plate first, made sure he had his stuff straight. She didn't necessarily come back to me and ask me, do you want me to make you a plate or whatever?
Yeah.
But I guess when I first started hanging around the family, it was something that I would have appreciated it because you don't know anybody. So you kind of nervous and you kind of feeling a little funny about it.
Yeah.
So I would have welcomed her making my plate then. But after you get in the family for a while, the cookout starts at 4. They don't start eating until 6. And if anybody knows me, like when I get hungry, man, I'm like hungry, man. Like I'm ready to eat. Because I'll get hangry. Because I haven't really ate nothing all day because I'm about to go to this cookout,
Yeah.
So like I'm ready to eat. So as soon as they say, let's eat, in my mind now, she'll still make sure that granddaddy has his plate first, which I respected. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Because, he doesn't have a spouse present to do that.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But now we got a son. And he's like his old man. And he gets hangry when he's hungry. So I'm like, do I want a temper tantrum or do I want my plate? Go ahead and give him his plate. So Mario E, to be honest with you, I get in the line by choice because I'm a hangry person, for one. And I'm just impatient at that point because I'm ready to eat. So I'd rather just make my plate and start eating while she's making everybody else's plates.
Yeah. Yeah. And to your point, I think I choose to make my own plate because I know I'm a picky eater sometimes. Yeah. And it's like, to prevent a whole bunch of going back and forth, like, do you want it this? Do you want it that? I just do it myself, don't worry about it. So that's how I do it, Yeah. It's interesting though, but like I said, I've seen other couples and they do the same thing. I know this is just a belief of mine. I think this was 30, 40 years ago, or even in some cases 20 years ago or 10 years ago, maybe even, not necessarily 10 years ago, but I know what the norm would be, and I know what the expectation would be, and it would be totally different. Now, as far as who's fixing whose plate,
My mom and my dad, like I said, they've been together 50 plus years. Now, she's gonna make his plate first. That's it.
Yeah.
Like that's not even a question.
Yeah.
He makes her. So I understood the roles in the house and what really was supposed to be done and how it was supposed to be done from an old school point of view.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like this what's supposed to happen, but I'm cool. I can adjust. I understand his reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
But I never got upset about it because I've been making my own plate my whole life, so I don't have to get her to do it now. But I understand, like some people, that's just what they do. It's cool.
Yeah.
But I think it's just funny how I think both of us feel like that's what's supposed to happen, but it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it not happening. You know, I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm not jealous at all by guys who get their plates fixed by their wives.
But isn't it interesting how, and I would want to know like how some of the other guys are feeling too about choosing a wife and choosing the mother of their child. Like, did you guys think of the same things that I thought about when it was time to choose a wife? You know, you would think that somebody that you want to spend the rest of your life with, maybe she did something else that made you say, man, she's the one. But I looked at how she took care of her grandmother and how she took care of her grandfather. Like, that showed me so much about what kind of mother she was going to be.
Yeah.
Like, what's your thoughts on that? Like, how was it anything that you remembered about you and your wife that you was like, man, that was the time that I was like, oh yeah, that's who I want to be with.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, I think it's dope that you remember, you know, that particular story and the fact that your wife was, you know, had that caring attitude, you were able to still see, even though maybe she wasn't serving you, you know, at a barbecue or cookout or what have you, that she still had those qualities. I think that's dope that you still recognize that and necessarily didn't get in your feelings just because, you know, she didn't make your plate or whatever. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I think about, you know, for my wife and I, you know, so when my wife and I started dating, you know, our daughter Aja was already like a little over a year old, like right at a year old, right? And so I was able to see those, you know, maternal instincts and that motherly love that she had already, you know, and just always wanting to put other people first. I mean, would literally give people her last, you know, just having that loving, caring attitude for other people. I think that's one of the things that I admire about my wife, and that I saw early on, that just, you know, like, wow, this is a beautiful soul, you know, someone who is, I mean, literally willing to give their last, you know, to help somebody else. You know, yeah. A lot of times people can be selfish, you know, and sometimes it's not even selfish. It's just, you know, I'm thinking about myself, you know, because, you know, I have to eat too, or I need this too, or I need something too. You know, because how many times have people ever come to ask you for something and it's your last and you're like, man, if I could help you, I would. But, you know, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I can't help because I need this for myself. But, you know, to see someone that's willing to, you know, go without just so someone else could have, you know, I just thought that was just so awesome and just showed me her character and how beautiful she is inside and out. So, yeah, for sure. That's something that, you know, that comes to mind for me.
So in honor of Mother's Day, you know, I want to think about, you talked about those maternal instincts that she showed. So was it some of the things that you saw in her as a mother that you saw from your mother that let you know that, yep, this is it?
Yeah.
Because I know for me, one of the things that stuck out to me about my wife was that she was a lady. in all aspects, she was a lady. And that's how I viewed my mother. I always viewed my mother in a positive light. And it was like she gave me that same vibe. And I was like, man, this girl is the one.
Mm-hmm.
And I can honestly say she was just different than any other woman that I had talked to. And I'm saying this because, you know, we talk about the Dad Roost podcast, and, you know, dads, it's your responsibility to pick the right wife and the right mother of your kids, because that's going to help you be a successful dad and father to your kids. So I can honestly say that it was not a hard decision. It wasn't something that I had to second guess multiple times. I knew she was the one. And we talked about it earlier about how counsel and having good counsel. And I had you right there, and you gave me so much advice on what to look for.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw your whole process of you finding your wife. And in a way, I mimicked that.